for that foreign representative to meddle in that particular affair. There's a long history to this sense of a right to meddle in the internal affairs of a sovereign state. And I've always been arguing that sometimes we need to turn the searchlight, on the other person. Where the High Commissioner to the UK, to the Court of St. James, meddle in how the police is treating Black Lives Matter activists, and tweeted and texted and all that. And particularly when some of those activists have either thrown paint on Winston Churchill's bust or pulled it down or behaved in a way that the state perceives to be touching on its security, national security. With the British government and its representatives have taken it very lightly. And the answer is no. So the IGP's response, and I think it was a very measured response, both of clarification and raising, questions for consideration. So for me, it shows the agency of the leadership of that institution. It shows a desire to deal with this particular case under the rule of law, and that there's an opening for a conversation. I think since this case came, Ghanaian activists themselves have raised their voices. So we should not always actually give so much emphasis when people who don't really understand the dynamics of what is going on think that they have a right and a better insight in the way that we handle our affairs. Unfortunately, we've got this laid-back attitude by those who ought to speak on behalf of the state, consistently allowing people to speak on our behalf. Okay, and I think the IGP's letter is a good historical document that others must take a cue from. Because history teaches us that what? As for friendships, they are ephemeral, they are temporary. It's Ghana's interest that will survive in the long term. All these are our partners. When the war in Ukraine came, the Russo-Ukrainian war, they decided to divert quite a large chunk of their money away from us. Those who perceive themselves as their good partners, sending it to their cousins who are now refugees in Europe. Okay, so we should be careful when people come waxing lyrical about the way that they care about us and about our rights. Please give us a chance to define what those rights are. Let us struggle for those rights. Let us make mistakes, and we shall get there. Okay? We stood up for Oliver's right to protest, to speak, and I even like the comment he gave yesterday. The letter was waiting for the IGP. Okay? This is the essence of what as Ghanaian activists we are asking for. Give us the space. Just be on the sidelines, watch, enjoy the show, and then just leave it there. Because intrusive comments and seeking to determine how actions or the performance of particular institutions should pan out, I think it's a little too far.
Prof, it's interesting. Your advice is that people in the position of the High Commissioner should just be on the sidelines, watch and enjoy the show. My attention is now on the words that she used in the tweet, where she said it will be interesting to see what happens next. Is that not her specifically saying that she's watching the show Is that not exactly what she communicated?
That was a little bit more than that. That was a little bit more than that. But you see, for me, where this matters is that she's reacted to a particular case, and the institution involved has also reacted. Okay? And for me, this is a reflection of a growing agency in Ghanaian society. Now, well, yes, if you don't want to sit on the sidelines and you want to show an interest in how something pans out, you also have a right to interpret that interest. So if you look at the LGBTQXYZF case, where a couple of ambassadors thought they will come from the outside and determine for us how we should behave, they met very robust, strong resistance.
Prof,
okay? And I think it's important for members of the diplomatic corps to understand the culture, the nuances, the sensitivity of what this small but bold country and its people are seeking to do. Do we have problems? Oh, plenty of it. Let me read St. John's Well to you. Okay, there are challenges, but I think the robust nature of the engagement, the consistent challenging of facts that has been put out there. And I think on this particular case, I don't know how many times I've not lashed out against the police and other institutions. So please give us a chance to engage our institutions and to make an input into how we perceive their deliverables to us as citizens of this country. So for me, the IGP's letter is very good. It's a useful historical document, and I don't think there should be any further engagement from the Ghana itself. I think they've made their point very clearly, and I think they should go on doing their work to protect us. They are equally important things that the people of Ghana are expecting from the Ghana Police Service in terms of their Olympics. But much kudos to the IGP and his team for writing that.
So,
But
Prof,
let me make a final point.
right.
Others have been critical of the IGP's letter and said it is a disgrace. I want to make a simple appeal. You know, as Ghanaians, what should drive us in our quest for development, stability, and growth is the enterprise called Ghana. You see, today somebody is in power, and therefore anything that outsiders say that can be perceived to be a criticism of those in power, then it's very good. But when we flip the coin, and the same people also get into power, I don't think they would tolerate such a thing. So we need a broader view and a vision of what Ghana's interests are, how we protect that, so that we can continuously project, where we stand and where we want to go. Getting there will have its controversies, it will have its conflict, but we'll always be able to resolve it.
Right. So the IGP's letter accuses the British High Commissioner of breaching the Vienna Convention. Now, looking at that specific accusation, and bearing in mind we're talking about the British High Commissioner here, we've had. Forgive me if I can finish the question. She's had predecessors like John Benjamin who accused Ghanaian politicians of corruption. His Excellency Ian Walker, who came before her, rode a bicycle through the country and talked about the deplorable state of some communities that he rode through, the poor roads that he rode on. Would these all qualify as breaches of the Vienna Convention if indeed a tweet about observing what happens next is a breach?
But let me make a point. The British High Commissioner does not supersede any other ambassador nor high commissioner who has presented a letter of credence and has been accepted by the legal representatives of the Republic of Ghana. The British High Commissioner is not a primus inter pares that is first among equals when it comes to these people.
Okay,
So please don't hype.
No, I wasn't seeking to make that
So,
point.
forgive me,
Prof.
These things. If you remember, before the 2000 election, Craig Murray, who was, I think, the Deputy High Commissioner, was lyrical about corruption, we using big cars, blah, 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 blah. If people don't want to respond because a British High Commissioner has accused them of corruption, and maybe they agree that they are corrupt, so they dare not open their mouth, that does not prevent the IGP from saying, look, my institution is doing this particular thing. This is how we intend to do it, and this is how we are doing it. It does not preclude the IGP from doing that. And it does not preclude any other institution from doing that. If you think that the commentary about your institution and its performance and actions are not right, then I think that's what the IGP has sought to do. His interpretation of the Geneva Convention, and I think Dr. Nfidansu might be a much better person because he's an international relationship. I am not. I think that is subject to interpretation. But he has cited it. And knowing Dr. Dampare, I'm sure he read it and knows the privileges and the duty of.
Okay.
Ambassadors and high commissioners.
Very well. Very well. And I want to thank you very much for your time with us this morning. It's been enlightening. I do have to make a small correction. I wasn't seeking to say that the British High Commissioner is in some way special because they are the British High Commissioner. I was just saying that we have had British High Commissioners in the past who have tweeted about things happening in Ghana. That's the only reason why I mentioned it. Not to say that British High Commissioner is in some way more of an ambassador to this country than any other. Professor Kwesi Aning there, giving us some insights into the letter written by the IGP to the British High Commissioner. This is a conversation that obviously will continue because there are many other views on this. But we have to get to the very thorny issue of conflict of interest. Ace Ankuma and Linda Ofori-Kwafo help us understand after these messages.
My first sin was sneaking into the fridge to sip on some Ideal milk.
My first telephone was 2 empty tins of Ideal milk connected by a long string.
My first taste of freedom was when I had 1 full tin of Ideal to myself in
My